Ooh, what's that smell? It's our newly announced OO Gauge Dia.1/801 12-ton insular fish vans. Of course! This colourful high-speed freight van has an interesting past, and is the perfect opportunity for us to squeeze in oceans of fishy wordplay. So many we think the two Ronnies would have been so proud of us. Before you place your pre-order, we thought there was no need to be coy with the details, so let's not flounder and wade right into this really fantastic wagon. During the 19th century, the expanding railway network helped create a boom in the fishing industry. With fast and reliable services, the scale of this operation could be expanded. So, fresh fish was able to be transported by rail across the length and breadth of the UK. As early as the mid-1840s, special fish trains were operated by several railway companies, utilising specially built rolling stock. As technology developed, faster services were offered with trains operating on the East Coast Main Line all the way from Scotland through the fishing towns of the North East and on to London. Something could be caught in Hull and served in Ealing the very same day. These puns are doing my head in.
Chris, you wrote this, didn't you? Hull and Ealing?
I've got a boatload more where that came from.
Really? You couldn't even let fishy place names slip through the net?
Yeah, sorry.
Start again. Continue with left off. Fish vans on the LNER originally featured a short wheelbase, but later developments settled on a larger 15-foot variant, and so the Diagram 214 van was spawned. Though this cross-country cod carrier was drafted by the LNER, it wasn't built until 1949, so would be considered a BR wagon. It was designed to operate both in block trains or as part of passenger train, and featured LNER 8-shoe brake gear and steam heating pipes. This was the perfect solution for express perishables. The longer wheelbase design also enabled more produce to be sent in an individual van, with no need to squash it in like sardines, so they were regularly seen running coupled to an existing passenger train. British Railways continued to build a variation of these vans, Diagram 800. These were built with standard oil axle boxes, but some were later upgraded to roller bearings in later life. The final design of the four-wheel fish van built by British Railways was the 1/801. The design featured several differences on the body, most notably the diagonal end bracing and around the side doors, along with the adoption of the BR clasp brake system. 3 batches of vans were built between 1960 and 1961, with a total of 558 being produced. Roller bearings allowed the wagons to travel at speeds of 60 miles per hour. As such, they gained the blue spot designation on the body sides. As you can imagine, these striking wagons certainly stood out amongst the browns and greys of BR freight stock of the day. However, during the steam era, white was not a great livery to have, and quickly became very dirty and shabby, resulting in many other vans being repainted into this fetching light blue livery. With the rise of road haulage and the decline in fish traffic on rail, many services ceased in 1968. Thankfully, the fish vans managed to find a new place in the fleet. Many vehicles were transferred to parcels traffic, coded NRV and later SPV, and sported BR Rail Blue livery with a double arrow logo. As they were no longer restricted to the transit of express fish, the NRVs and SPVs were gradually dispersed across the nation, with examples being seen everywhere from Penzance to Doncaster. So, they wouldn't look out of place being added to any BR Blue rake, no matter where in the country you happen to be modelling. Other vans found a home in engineers' use, as barrier vehicles, and even as support vehicles of breakdown cranes, carrying a number of interesting liveries. We have included a nice selection of departmental versions in the range for you to enjoy too. A small number of Diagram 1/801 vans have survived into preservation at locations such as the Swanage, Great Central and Bluebell Railways. The Swanage Railway kindly let us clamber over their vans, so we were able to measure and photograph them to our heart's content. We would like to thank everyone at the railway who made this possible for us. Upon closer inspection of the new Rapido vans, you will notice they are full to the gills, with the same high level of detail as our previous wagons, both above and below the floor line, including 2 different types of buffers as seen on the prototype. Of course, the crews using the vans for engineering purposes had to get in and out of them from the trackside more often than when they were being used for ferrying fish, so steps were sensibly installed. We have included this detail as a separately fitted part on the relevant versions in the range. There are even separate label boards provided for modders to fit as required, which is rather neat. Express parcels and fast-moving fishy freight need to get to their destination as swiftly as possible. The fitted metal bearings will aid super smooth running and enable prototypically long trains you most likely want to run. So whether you prefer yours open or wrapped, we've got a van to get you hooked. Order books are now open for the OO Gauge BR Diagram 1/801 12-ton insular fish vans, and they are available in 16 brightly coloured versions. You can catch yours by using the net and going directly to our website or through any of our fleet of official stockists. So long, and thanks for all the fish.